They said they even had Louis V stamps on the fentanyl. And I'm just like, design the future. This is definitely him. He only buys his women APs and the designer
And
LV
Louis Vuitton
drugs. Right.
You're now listening to the thoughts and sounds of IC the God King. This is the IC Experience.
Bureau gang.
Right. Damn. So, okay, just to reiterate what he was saying, he was basically saying that what if Future is the one that's telling on everybody? Which is, it's kind of, initially when you hear that, you're like, no, he would never. He's the realest nigga in it.
You already know.
Right. You know, and it makes sense because of the climate of what's going on in Atlanta with all the, you know, Thug and Wife and Lucci, and even
Oops, I didn't mean to do that.
you know, there's been speculation about Lil Baby Camp being
Oh, wrong one again.
what
All right, there we go.
you know, but it's been a lot of like snitching allegations coming out of these rapper camps.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it would make sense that
it ain't allegations. Some niggas be snitching, but go ahead.
Right. Okay. Well, go. So take it from there. You know, like it do make sense. It would be a crazy like movie.
Right. I mean, it would be crazy to see, right? But then when you think about it, like, man, it make too much sense.
Yeah.
Right. If they go to Future, you just sold your catalog for $70 million, bro, you're not trying to entertain no conversations with law enforcement about nothing.
Or they went to him before that and he needed to sell his catalog to get the money to, I don't know.
Right. I mean, you would see it coming up the line before you actually get the conversation.
Right.
You know, so yeah, right. Because I have to imagine that especially after that Scooter situation, I feel like it's related.
Yeah.
You know, so after the Scooter situation, you had to start, you know, feeling the heat a little bit, and what probably happened was they chilled out, kind of got ghost for a minute, looked around,
let them get back going.
Oh man, come on, man! The oldest trick in the book. Leave them alone for a couple months. It's like, oh man, ain't nothing going on.
They gonna come back outside again.
Oh yeah.
Then it didn't help that he got caught in there with a Hispanic dude. Yeah, I listened to it on Act. He gave him more details. Somebody sent the paperwork.
Black Migo gang.
Right. So, you know, and then they said they even had Louis V stamps on the fentanyl. And I'm just like, design the future. This is definitely him. He only buys his women APs and the designer LV drugs. Right. It's ridiculous when you like say that shit out loud. You know what I'm saying? But because you know what? Because so now that you say that, because it was allegedly something with Scooter, then it was something with Casino, and then Boston Richie had to fight a federal charge too. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that.
No.
Yeah. So
recently,
he just got out. He beat his charges though.
Wow.
Yeah.
He beat the Feds.
Yeah, he did. So, you know, again, this is all speculative. We don't know. We're not saying this is what happened.
Right. Yeah. Usually beating the Feds means there was kind of some level of cooperation. You know, meaning, hey, it wasn't me, it was him.
I mean, I would believe that if he wasn't out, if he didn't go to jail for a long time, you know, but he fought it. He fought it. He was locked up for like a year or something.
Okay. So he was guilty at first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and again, we just hypothetically talking right now. It's just, but it do make a lot of sense.
Yeah, everything we saying is allegedly in our opinions of the situation. You know what I'm saying? Right.
So that would be a crazy mastermind movie that what if they didn't even come to him? What if he was already just supposed to be doing this shit? You know what I'm saying? you know, because just like Young Thug was getting mad at Gunna for like years about he snitched, and then conveniently somebody dropped the tape of him snitching the same way.
Right.
And it's kind of like, and that's another reason why he having a hard time getting back in the game. You know, Gunna straight, Gunna out of here. But Thug, you know, King Slime.
Thug put that block on himself, man. You know,
speak on it. What you mean?
How you hating on Gunna for the same thing you was doing? It's like you're just trying to create the situation, a narrative that, you know, supports you don't like Gunna. You know, it's all good until somebody do it to you.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like to me that's like a thinking flaw. You know, like that's going to hold you back. That way of thinking is just going to hold you back. No matter how talented you are, how much opportunity you have, eventually that way of thinking is going to hold you back.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what's going on with Thug. That's why I say he got like an energy block, because he focused, he worried about the wrong shit, man. You know, you need to be doing what Gunna did, getting on the treadmill. You look terrible, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? And get on the treadmill, put the cup down, put the weed down for as long as you can, man. Get in the studio and make music.
Yeah.
Become an artist, become a musician again. Study things about it that you maybe didn't know before and really delve into it, you know? But yeah, trying to turn everybody against him and make this microwave music to try to make some money real quick, and shit ain't gonna work, bro.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think that's pretty much everything with the future conversation.
Right.
So the next conversation is I wanted to talk to you about was that our brother Pharrell Williams has been in the hot seat with his some would say controversial subject matter on dealing with politics and DEI, and basically saying that it shouldn't be about skin color, and it should just be about individuals who are good at that should just get the job. On one hand, people, you know, that's more like in alignment with the right wing of the politics. But on the other hand, it's like when you have systemic racism, there's no way that the best candidate can win. And first of all, what are your thoughts on that? Like Pharrell making that statement. Are you surprised by that, or are you?
What was the statement?
You know, basically like that we don't need DEI, and it, you know, it should just be like if you were good at it, that's how you get a job. Like race don't matter, basically.
I mean, I think all of that DEI stuff, and you know, all of the programs that are that involve a person's ethnicity or race or something like that. I just think all of that stuff can be, you know, it can be taken too far this way, and it can be taken too far that way. Right. So then we want to kind of find this sweet spot in the middle that makes everybody happy.
But then on the flip side, you got people like myself, like you acknowledge, like, hey, y'all hoarding all the resources, and you have it set up for us to not be able to penetrate. But then at the same time, you telling us to go pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and go get a job. But you won't give us a loan. You won't let me live where I want to live. You won't give me education I can't even get, you know. So to me, I understand it. Like without it, they would never give us the opportunity.
Well, I think that those other things that you kind of pointed out, right, is like that's different.
But
right.
It's saying that's why it's put there though.
Huh?
That's why it was even put into law. That's why they created DEI, to acknowledge, like, hey,
right,
we do be fucking y'all over.
Right, exactly. And that's what I'm saying is like the things that you were saying. I think like all of that stuff is the DEI thing. I think can be like distracting because it's like, okay, yeah, we're losing this one thing. It's like, man, there's so many other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it shouldn't even be just DEI. Like DEI should be a part of a much bigger initiative of also including but those things that
it is. Like, because DEI, then you got affirmative action. Like, that's what I'm saying. It is
well, no, I mean even bigger than that. And whatever they got going on, it ain't enough of it. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? So affirmative action, all of that shit. It needs to be part of a much bigger initiative, a much bigger thing, because I think the DEI or just this thing or that thing alone, it doesn't have enough impact, you know what I'm saying, to really make a difference for real with people. Because I mean, you could argue the point of, hey, if one person got a job right through DEI that wouldn't have got it otherwise, okay, it's a win program. So then we also got to weigh that out, right? It's like, okay, yeah, you get to say, oh yeah, we got this cultural diversity program, and we don't really know what kind of impact it's really having. You know what I'm saying?
But we do, because, for example, with the Trump administration, they got rid of a lot of federal employees in the DMV area, or just wherever they got federal jobs at. They do know that during that Doge campaign of removing that DEI, that got rid of 300,000 black women jobs right there alone. So now imagine, that's a lot of people.
I don't believe that, bro.
Why?
I don't believe it. 300,000 people, bro. Yeah. Doing what? I need to know what they were doing or something. I mean, like,
but then that's
yeah.
You're gonna have to. I'm telling
you. Yeah, how much were they making? If 300,000, bro, I don't know nobody who worked for the federal. Now maybe you do.
Yes, I do.
You know what I'm saying? How many?
I'll tell you like this. Where I grew up, I can tell you everybody who's working.
Right, work
for the government.
Right, work for the Capitol.
Yeah, so it's believable. So then you got to think about how big. How big is the federal government?
Here's my issue with that whole argument. Right, I don't know that. I'm being told something by somebody else if this is what it is, and I don't necessarily know that. Now, can I say I do know that you know some people personally that work for the federal government that it affected.
You're right.
Right? Does that mean that those people aren't going to make money otherwise?
No, that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is there is a, like, the DEI conversation. If you get rid of this, because if you think about it, they say the African American women are the most educated group in America, and I believe that, because when I went to FAMU, when I go to any school, majority of African American women went to college. So if there's a concentrated effort to, like, hey, we need to crush them. If you had to sit down and think about who runs the black household right now, I would have to say black women, right? So then if black women run the household, that means they're the one financially responsible for running the household. And if you can swipe out a lot of women and a lot of people, they're going to take jobs with the federal government because of the security and the longevity that you have of the job.
But if they're that educated though, right? Aren't they just going to get another job?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on, like, because you got to understand, if people work in the private sector and people working in the public sector, it's totally different. It's totally different.
I know that.
So now you're asking, like, does everybody who went to college, did they know how to build a car from scratch or something? Some people don't. They're not entrepreneurs, and they don't.
I get that, but still, even if you're not working for the federal government, you can work for somebody that has nothing to do with entrepreneurship.
But look at it like this:
you're just getting another job.
Area, a lot of those jobs are federal jobs, and if they're not federal jobs, they're the kind of jobs that are hired by federal contractors. That whole city. So and from my understanding, the majority of that number come from people in that area that live in the DMV. 'Cause that's
I mean, if you that educated and
Well,
you that
listen.
valuable to society, I mean, you should be
this is
and that's
this
just
is what
my
we,
opinion. You should be able to get another job. I understand that
Well,
might be difficult, but it's like, yeah.
but what about the other people that didn't impact?
Hmm?
If what about the other people that work with the federal government and it didn't impact them at
Which,
all?
what do you mean it didn't impact?
So you're saying, hey, you're educated, go get another job.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, if you was to look at it a pie and there's a chart, and you got rid of the piece of the pie that had majority of minority people working in it, and then everybody else, they straight.